I think right now we're going into a decade where active management's really going to matter, and you're going to have to be looking at bottoms up, evaluating individual companies as well as a top-down macro view. And I think there's 5 kind of key trends that you have to think about how you navigate those. And so they're, because I have to be able to remember them, they're all starting with D. Demographic, deglobalization, I'll call it deleveraging or disinflation, digitization, and decarbonization. There's going to be massive amounts of opportunity to leverage it, but we are so early in that I think, and anytime new technology comes in, the first thing that people do is you just become more efficient at what you do today. You don't make the leaps with creativity until later. And we're just at the stage of figuring out how to be more productive today with generative AI. But down the road, you'll see big leaps, I think. It's my favorite example on blockchain, which is blockchain does 3 things. It enables a payment mechanism. It enables smart contracts to execute all the rights on that transaction. And it has a general ledger, so you have a proof of ownership. So Rihanna, the singer, launched 300 NFTs, each one worth 0.00033% ownership or royalties to one of her biggest hits. Why can she do that? Because when the streaming service plays her song, your fractions of a cent, of a penny, or whatever, are getting paid. The smart contract kicks off and recognizes that if I have the token in my wallet, I have all the rights to that, so I get paid. You could never do that before because there were too many people that had to be involved in that transaction, so you wouldn't be able to do fractions. It wouldn't make sense. It wouldn't be cost effective. And so we think it's going to open up a lot of different types of investment opportunities, and you already see it today in the crypto space, that will be interesting and legitimate. If you overregulate, you're exactly right. You're not going to get innovation. On the other hand, if there isn't clarity around the rules and people are afraid that they're going to get in trouble, then they won't launch products and they won't innovate either. And so providing a certain amount of clarity and in these new areas, watching the market evolve and creating an environment for, to get feedback as that market's evolving, I think is really important. Because, chances are something that's evolving this quickly as blockchain, you're not going to get the regulation exactly right the first time. Right. And there has to be a bit of a modification, but also be realistic, that you can't punish somebody who's trying to innovate, who stays within the rules, and there's always that sort of guiding principle. What was the intention? Were they being intentionally good and constructive, and then, if you see things going off course, to say, all right, we need to tighten up these regulations. But I feel for the dilemma because it is really hard in times of great change to be able to give that clarity around the regulation. Right. I always say there's 3 things that I look for in people when it comes to whether they're going to fit in our culture. Do they genuinely look at clients first? Do they talk in their conversations about what it means to their clients? Do they feel like they're going to collaborate with people? Our greatest, I think, breakthroughs in the future are going to be where our investment teams find opportunity with each other. And I'll give you a couple examples of that. And then finally, in a time of great technological advance, this concept of continuous improvement, to never believe that you're finished, to always be looking for ways that you think you can do something better. We genuinely believe that if you get diversity of thought, you are going to get better outcomes. And the science is proven, and I actually have a friend who's a professor at UC Berkeley, and she's written a book called In Defense of Troublemakers. And the concept is that the devil's advocate never works. You don't actually get better solutions with the devil's advocate. Where you get better solutions is when you get 2 people in the room who absolutely disagree, because they will come up with every possible idea to prove their view is right. And And that's actually when you start to have breakthroughs. And so diversity is diversity of ethnicity, it's diversity of socioeconomic, diversity of gender, right? It's diversity of perspective, education, all those things.